All right, guys.
What's up, guys?
All right, let's get right back into it. Patent pending episode 17 today
Podcast for creatives.
by creatives.
And today we have on just us.
Just us. This is just going to be a catch-up episode for Mike and I. We haven't podcasted all of October. And I think even then we were beginning of September was our actual last filming episode.
Yeah,
So-
but we posted through September, though.
Yeah. So a little catch-up episode for Mike and I here, as well as you listening.
Yeah, I think we got we got very, very busy with work. Yeah, we just had a lot of shit going on. It's hard to manage this project with also managing being freelance
Yeah.
at our stages in our careers, because we're little work addicts and we say yes to everything. So then this sometimes takes the back burner, I
Yeah.
think, unfortunately. But I think, yeah, because originally we were doing every 2 weeks for posting, and then that was working really well. And then the summer hit and we got really busy. And then we were anticipating for it to slow down a bit. And then I was really adamant about pushing to posting every week to be super consistent. And then that was a little ambitious, I think.
Yeah. I mean, just setting it up in my house, filming it, you and I, and then Mike and I, switch off to edit the podcast and then upload. So yeah, it's just us two-man show with our schedule. So it's a lot to juggle, but we're back, and yeah, a little catch-up episode.
Yeah, I think we'll shoot for every other week, and we apologize to anybody who was looking for the episodes. But yeah, we are back with a vengeance. I hope everyone's been well. We have a lot to catch up on. How's everything been?
Good. Very busy. I'm glad I got through October. Took on a little bit more than I probably should have. Mainly weddings and elopements. But yeah, moving forward. And then in November, December, I'm kind of like really forcing myself to just take on a handful.
Same. I say that now, but typically, historically, November, December, I think in Vegas are typically a bit slower due to holidays and less tourism. But I said that last year, but it was the first year back after the pandemic, so it was pretty busy last year. I don't know how this year's going to be. I heard that, we're going to start entering a bit of a recession a little bit for the first 2 quarters of next year. So I don't know if that'll affect too much. But yeah, I'm actually pretty excited if it does slow down a bit, because it gives me some time to get caught up on some personal stuff. Yeah, then the holidays are always good to spend some time with my family, spend some time with my friends.
Yeah.
I do quite miss my friends.
Yeah, you don't want to work all the way through the holidays and then, show up, but you're not really showing up because you're exhausted from work or you're thinking about the next thing.
Yeah, that's
like you're not present.
That's how the last year and a half has been, I feel like, fortunately. But yeah, since the beginning, since everything opened back up in May of 2021, I feel like
Yeah.
it's just been a sprint since then.
Yeah, that's why this year I'm not taking on anything around Thanksgiving. I mean, we're also doing a little vacation, but I'm forcing myself to not take on anything because I did have a few weddings on Thanksgiving, or not a few. I had one a couple days before, which I moved before my trip, and then I had one literally on Thanksgiving that I had booked originally, but then I ended up canceling.
Yeah, did you just think about it? And you're like, yeah, fuck that.
Well, Ivana was like, because she's in education, she's a school teacher, so she was like, oh, I have Thanksgiving off. We should take advantage of all the holidays that I'm off. And so I was like, yeah, do I want to go spend a few days on vacation with my wife or shoot someone's wedding on Thanksgiving Day? Yeah, I'm gonna go hang out with my wife.
And then for me, I took one gig on Thanksgiving a few years ago, and I was there and I was like, this is fucking stupid. Why am I here?
Yeah.
I left Thanksgiving early, and I was like, never again, man. And even if you don't celebrate Thanksgiving, I still think it's a great opportunity to spend time with people that you like.
Yeah, that's literally what happened to me last year. I had a wedding on Christmas Day, and I was supposed to drive out to California for my family's Christmas. We're going to do it at my uncle's house. And then I ended up canceling on my family last minute because I had that wedding. And I was like, hey, I'm going to, I don't really care for Christmas. Yeah, it'd be nice to see you guys, but I really don't care for it. So I'm going to go make a pretty penny on Christmas Day. And so I feel like I made the right choice in hindsight because but this year, even though we don't celebrate things like that, I'm forcing, I'm not available. Cause like you said, yeah, you may not celebrate it, but again, why should I have to work on Christmas Day to shoot something?
For sure. What I mean? Yeah. And even if it's not if you don't celebrate it, you can still use that opportunity. Like you said, with your wife, who already has those days off.
Yeah, exactly. Unwind. So it's the same thing this year for New Year's Eve. I'm telling everyone I'm not working, and we're in beginning of November, and I'm still getting hit up for New Year's Eve, and I'm like, nope, I'm not available.
Yeah, see, I'm the opposite on New Year's Eve. New Year's Eve is always a big thing for Vegas, so it's like I'm always down to work it, and then you could always typically charge more because the strip closes, so you have to get there early.
Yeah.
So New Year's Eve has always been like a holiday that I've worked every year.
I'm taking this year off because I've worked every New Year's since I moved here to Vegas. So now not every year since moving here, but I've worked the last 5 years. And so this year I'm like, you know what? I want to enjoy
Is this another holiday that your wife gets off as well?
Yeah. Cool. She'll get off the Christmas. She'll get off the 2-week Christmas break through New Year's.
Oh yeah. The 2 weeks.
Yeah. The winter break.
Yeah, dude, fuck that. And then, you can spend all that time with your wife and
chill. Cause it's just, New Year's Eve, everyone's having fun and I'm like in work mode. So I just kind of don't want that stress that I have been. I want to be able to enjoy it and not go out.
1 year I worked, but I got done at 8 or 9 or 7 or something. I got done early.
Right.
And I was at the Rio.
Classy place.
Yeah, it was like an old person New Year's Eve party, and I just had to shoot the first couple hours of this party, and it paid really well. And I was like, all right, yeah, I'll do it. And then I didn't take anything on the strip, so I got to go home. And then I actually did go out afterwards. And I was like, oh, this is kind of cool. Everyone's partying. This is fun. But,
yeah, it can be fun. Was it last year? I'm trying to recall. I don't remember what I did. I don't know if it was last year or the year before, but there was 1 year that was pretty fun because obviously, so we're on the strip. Like Mike said, it closes. They shut down the strip to all traffic usually around
for anybody who doesn't know.
Yeah, usually around 3 or 4 p.m. on New Year's Eve day. They'll block off the strip to all vehicle traffic. So I shot it, but Ivana went with me, so she got to hang out, go to the bars, whatever, because I had to shoot a few venues. And then another friend of ours met up with us down there, and then we all kind of hung out while I shot. And then, I'd kind of have a little drink with them here and there. So that was kind of fun. It wasn't as work focused as it usually is. But yeah, I told myself this year I want to just chill.
Yeah. I don't know about New Year's. I'm indifferent about New Year's, but Thanksgiving and Christmas, I definitely want to just chill and spend time.
Yeah. I think that's a big thing for me is to be at that point where I can say no to things. I think we talked about this before, but more so I'm at the point now where I can really kind of pick and choose what I want to shoot or when I want to shoot it. For instance, like I said, I don't want to shoot these 3 major holidays.
Yeah, that's a good place to be. I had, so like I said, we've been working nonstop, but I had 2 weeks that weren't, they weren't slow, but they weren't as jam-packed as they've been.
Okay.
So I had some time to relax, and then I actually felt like I was going crazy. So I was
because you
I wasn't shooting nonstop. I feel like, I don't know if I'm addicted to work or if it's social media and I see that everybody else is working, I'm like, fuck, but I needed the time to relax.
Were you catching up on editing for those 2 weeks, or were you completely caught up on that front as well?
So, and it's funny too, because I'm always catching up on editing, I feel like, for the most part, but for those 2 weeks, it just wasn't as jam-packed. Maybe I had 2 days off each week, and that was a slower week. So yeah, I was editing, but I was just kind of sitting at home. I got a bunch of cleaning done, my laundry, all the stuff that you need to get done. I was like, fuck, like I wish I was working right now. Or like, oh, like I feel like I just can't like sit still for very long.
Yeah.
Especially with being freelance. I feel like it's go, 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 go.
Mm-hmm.
Especially if I see other people work, I'm like, oh, there's work to be had, like.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, well, yeah. Other people are busy, so I should be too. For me, right now, getting through October, I'm the opposite. This week I had a shoot. I had a wedding on Monday, Halloween. So then Tuesday I had it off. Wednesday I had it off. Thursday I had a day off, and now we're Friday, and I've had a day off. So I was looking forward to those 4 days off, which it's not 4 days off for me because I still have a shit ton to edit from October.
Yeah.
But I was like really like my body, like mentally, like I was craving those few days to not physically go to a shoot. Because I was starting to get like a little bit, I was starting to get a little bit burnt out towards the end of October.
Yeah, dude, I got sick. I don't know if I got sick, but I had like really bad allergies for like the last month. And that turned into like kind of just something. And I just tweaked my fucking back I think it's just from traveling, that I was working out a bunch, then not being like stretched out enough. Yeah, it beat me up.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, I got beat the fuck up.
Before we jumped on here, Mike was stretching in my living room.
Yeah, my back is not awesome right now. Make sure you guys stretch.
So, let's talk about our October. Mike and I had a wedding in San Francisco.
Yeah. Just smacked my teeth together. We had a wedding in San Francisco with a friend of ours, Angelo. And we went to San Francisco. We shot this wedding and it was fucking super fun.
Yeah, so Mike and I tag teamed photo. Angelo was on video. It was a good friend of his who's I guess a really famous chef. He knows people.
He knows people. We
found out at the wedding. So it was like a very big, full 8-hour wedding.
Well, yeah, we could preface it too. I've never been to San Francisco.
Yeah,
so that was super exciting.
Yeah, I went once. My older sister lived there for quite a few years. She's back in the area now, but yeah, I went there. So yeah, last time I went there was probably like, and I was like 15. So
yeah, so we got there. So I got there Saturday night. You got there Sunday morning.
I got there Sunday early at like 6 a.m.
Yeah. So then we all met up Sunday morning. We got some food. We immediately jumped on scooters.
Yeah.
Jumped on some scooters up and down the San Francisco hills.
Yeah, that was a really, really fun. That was a really fun weekend, fun time.
And then we met up with one of Angelo's friends to drop some stuff off. And they greeted us with tequila shots at like 9:30 in the morning.
Yeah, it was like 9 in the morning, and they're already greeting us with chilled tequila shots. But yeah, the wedding was fun. It was a long day, but it was fun, shooting with friends and just having a good time. And then afterwards, Mike.
well, before that, we shot the wedding in one part of San Francisco, and then we got to take a ferry across the bay.
Yeah.
So for me, who's never been there, I got to see Alcatraz and I got to see all this shit. I got to like see it from the bay. It was so fucking cool.
Yeah. So they had their beautiful little like rooftop ceremony, little beautiful rooftop ceremony. And then we jumped on a ferry and we went to actually
Tiburon.
Their restaurant. They have a restaurant there in the bay. And yeah, it was a really cool spot.
Yeah, and then it was just super fun to like shoot with Sean. Because Sean and I have shot together, but not like that. Not like that.
Not like tag teaming it.
And we definitely meshed super well together. It was nice.
Yeah.
Because like in the wedding setting too, like, yeah, you could, if you shoot with like a first and second shooter or something, it could be a fucking mess sometimes. But yeah, we just meshed well together and I could like tell immediately. And then Angelo was really good to shoot with as well. And then we went to the reception and then they were like, dude, you guys just eat and drink and enjoy yourselves. And so they were, the husband was Jewish. His family was Jewish. So they did the holo dance.
Yeah, that was
so sick.
Yeah, they party. I only want to shoot Jewish weddings now.
It was so much fun. Yeah, and the food was so delicious.
Yeah, if you're listening, I only want to do Jewish weddings now because that was a party.
You also have to be a chef.
Yeah. But yeah, it was cool. Fucking Steph Curry showed up.
Yeah, they were like, "Hey guys, like Steph's gonna come," and I was like, "Who the fuck's Stephanie? Like, why are they making such a big deal about Stephanie?"
Yeah.
And then it was Steph Curry.
It was, yeah. I thought for sure too.
I was like, oh, it's like the Steph.
Oh, that's what you mean by Steph. Oh, Steph Curry.
Yeah. And then what did we do after?
Afterwards, there was an after party, which is just a bar. And then Mike and I and Angelo got pretty wasted. And then we split off with Angelo at like just probably like 2 a.m.
And we're from Vegas, so you can get food at any time you want in Vegas. San Francisco,
not
in the
so
financial
much.
district, not so much.
We couldn't even find a liquor store for water. We were like searching high and low. So we're riding scooters at like, 2, 3 a.m. drunk as shit. It shouldn't be on a scooter, that's for sure. That's my only thought the whole time was don't fall on the scooter. Don't crash.
Yeah.
Because you're too drunk at this point where it's going to be a lot worse than you're going to comprehend.
Yeah, you just come back to Vegas with a broken collarbone.
Or I was also thinking, fuck, maybe I wouldn't get hurt at all because I am so drunk that I just like roll with it, you know what I mean? And I end up and I'm like, oh, not a scratch.
Yeah, so we're mobbing around and then we get back to the hotel and it's 3:00.
Yeah.
So then we ordered, I Uber Eats us Carl's Jr.
Yeah.
That took an hour to get there.
Took fucking forever to get to us.
So we're watching this horrible movie in Sean's hotel room. What was it? It's from 2007 with Bruce Willis, Halle Berry.
Did we ever figure out what movie it was?
It was called The Stranger's Friend or something shit like that. It's horrible. And then what'd you do?
I fucking passed out.
I told you not to.
I passed out.
I was like, dude, we can't fall asleep. We got to wait for the food.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, the food's here. And he's just
like within 10-minute time frame, Mike's like, all right, I ordered food. Don't fall asleep. I fall asleep, which is funny because if Ivana were there, she'd tell you the same thing because she does it all the time with me. Perfect stranger. All right.
Yeah.
But yeah, she does. She knows that all too well. So that made me laugh. Was that? Yeah.
How was the next morning for you?
Next morning for me, flight back home was really rough. I was hungover. I wasn't. Yeah, I was hungover, but this one was weird. This was more of a stomach hungover, not a head one, which I kind of prefer. Because the head ones are just brutal.
I never really deal with the stomach issue too much.
Most of the time have been
it's just the
headaches.
Hangover. And then like for instance, I drank a beer when we got lunch the next day.
Yeah.
So I was like, let me just like nip this in the butt while I can. But you had the stomach thing on the plane.
Stomach thing on the plane. So of course we're taking off and every little thing, every second feels like an hour. I end up having to go to the bathroom, puke it up.
And I looked over at him. He's just like,
yeah, I was in bad shape. And not to mention the flight from San Francisco to Vegas was like 59 minutes. So that
long
hour-long flight, felt like 4. But
it was thoroughly a great time. I had such a good time on that trip.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you again, Angelo, for booking us to do that.
Yeah, that was a really fun fucking 24 hours, basically.
Yeah, I would be down to do more stuff like that in the future. I think tag teaming bigger gigs would be fun.
Yeah.
I mean, shit, I'd even be down to do bigger weddings with you.
Yeah.
I think. Because it makes it fun. Like, when you're shooting, I mean, let's not lie. What made it fun also was the client. That was like literally dream client. Like, they were so chill.
Yeah,
so
Adam and
relaxed.
Adam and Jessica were fucking awesome to be around.
They were so much fun. They were so low pressure.
Super, super chill for as, kind of what I'll say is like big and traditional of a wedding as it was. Mm-hmm. They were definitely really chill and it really helps when the client or the couple is not stressed.
They weren't stressed, and then they were just chill, and then we were in good company. So, made some funny friends.
Oh yeah, we got some stories, but
yeah, made some good friends there. Yeah. What else did you work on in October?
October for me was just a ton of elopements and weddings. A lot of elopements, and there was a few like the one we just talked about. What I consider like a little bit bigger weddings. I had 3. So I had that one in San Francisco. Mm-hmm. And then I had 2 other ones, which I'll call they were like a backyard wedding. So they weren't as big as the 8-hour day, but they were definitely bigger than my little, shotgun elopements.
Yep.
So those still take their toll. I'm there for 4 hours with a couple photographing and all that.
It's like not even so much the physical. It's a lot of mental energy.
It's a lot of mental.
You have to be on, and then you have to be on like customer servicey, like, hey, how are you guys? Mm-hmm. And be cool and fun. And then you also have to be on creatively.
Yeah.
And then you also have to be on physically.
Yep.
So it's just like, people are always like, oh, you only have to work for 4 or 5 hours. But
Yeah.
dude, it's way more draining than you think it is.
It really is. Like I'll come home and it's like, say it's 8 p.m. and I'm like, God, I'm exhausted. And I like look at the clock and I'm like, oh, dude, I didn't start work until 4 p.m.
Mm-hmm.
Why am I so exhausted? But like,
Yeah.
It's because of all those things. Like, yeah, you need to be on socially. Like, yeah, I'm sure there's plenty of photographers out there that just kind of show up and photograph people and it gets the job done. Like your photo is great, your work is great. But for me, what a big thing that I always retain is my clients will always tell me how much fun they had with me or just how comfortable I made them feel. And that's a huge part of it because it's not just taking good photos or like I said, being technically on point with like lighting in different situations. It's also being friendly. Like you're not just taking someone's photo.
Well, and especially in that situation where they're eloping or getting married. Yeah, that's even more important.
Yeah.
Like if you're doing like a portrait session or headshots, but if you're shooting like an event, you can kind of be social with the client and then be a fly on the wall the rest of the day.
Yeah.
But like yours is so in depth and so
direct.
demanding.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I had a lot of elopements. When We Were Young festival came into town. So I was able to shoot the story of the year at Brooklyn Bowl for the When We Were Young festivals. That was cool to hang out with those dudes. Shot a couple. I had a cocktail shoot, which was cool. Shoot for a hair salon, and then a new coffee shop opened up in town that I did interior photos for.
Very nice, very nice.
Yeah, nice little mix in October, but the main bulk was my weddings.
Nice.
What about you? You traveled a bit?
Yeah, we did San Francisco in the beginning. Let me see what else I wrote down. We did San Francisco in the beginning, and then I did 3 conferences in October.
Oh.
One was in Orlando. One was this past weekend at the Wynn. I did another one at Allegiant Stadium. They rented out like one of the bars in there.
Oh, nice.
And did. I didn't know they do private events at Allegiant, which is pretty cool. So it was all medical conferences.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I didn't know that they did that either.
Yeah, and then I had a pretty big gig with Pepsi, which is kind of cool. I did that. I got to meet Bun B.
Nice.
Like, they had a couple restaurant owners come in and they did this thing at what is that restaurant in the Mandalay Bay? I can't even remember the name.
Bar?
No, it's across from the sushi restaurant. When you walk into the Michelob Ultra Arena.
Oh, no.
Can't think of it.
Not familiar.
Yeah. Whatever. So they're doing a residency there for a few dishes for a few restaurants around the US. And they had the chefs come out and then they had them cook the dishes. And then they did video. And then I did food photography for them. And then also portraits of the chefs as well.
Oh, wow.
So that was cool because it had like a lot of moving parts. And I was the only photographer there. The video team had like 5 or 6 people, and I was like a one-man band running between 2 different restaurants, doing BTS of the interviews, BTS of the cooking, BTS of the filming, and then I had to take the dish, shoot the dish, like classic like food photography.
Plated, yeah.
And then also I had another setup for then I had to take them over and then do like a portrait session with them, which is like a lot.
Yeah.
A lot of moving parts. And the client told me that they were very impressed with how well I worked and how easy I was to work with, which is always, like you said, like, it's like the highest compliment. Like not only like your work's good, but like you're easy to work with. We didn't stress about it and we kept changing all this fucking shit with you.
Yeah.
And they were like, you handled it with no issues.
Yeah.
Yeah, because originally it was supposed to be just 1 day and then it turned into 2.5 days.
Right.
And I was like, yeah, I'm available. Yeah, we got it. And like, so that was like a really high compliment.
Yeah, it's a weird balance toting that line between, being flexible for a client, as well as on the other hand, kind of like standing your ground and being like, like, hey, this is not what we agreed upon, or this is not what the contract is, or, so on and so forth. So if you can kind of navigate that line where you're not being, taken advantage of or overworked and still making the client happy, I think that's like a good, but it's not always like an easy line to kind of, walk.
Yeah. And then too, like the other main thing is like the client was wonderful, but like there's also a lot of people who are working under the client.
Yeah.
So there was a lot of people, and I didn't really even understand the hierarchy too much. I just knew the one person who hired me, and then there was like the video team and then the director. But long story short, there was a lot of like cooks in the kitchen. So like I'd be shooting and I have a lot of like eyes on me while I'm shooting. So it's like a high pressure situation. I have to perform professionally, creatively, and manage expectations. So I think I did pretty good. I like literally that day, I gave myself a pat on the back.
Yeah.
I was like, good job, dude.
I think you have to because there's it's very easy to like leave that situation and be beat down and be like, I'm fucking exhausted and fucking never again. And like,
well, that's, yes, that's good. But you have to first get past like not crumbling under the pressure.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I was like very grateful that I handled it. In retrospect, should have charged far more than I did. I spoke to my mentor and he was like, I hope you charged this much. And I was like, I didn't. And I was like, fuck.
Yeah.
But it was a great learning experience. And now I have that, under my belt. And then I did another conference in Orlando. So that was fun. And I think that's how I hurt my back.
Mm-hmm.
I was using a really heavy backpack traveling. And then I was also working out while I was traveling. I was also sitting on planes. And then I worked out the other day and I thought I was warmed up. And I wasn't even lifting. I was just doing body weight stuff. And I just felt a little pinched and I finished the workout. And then now I'm fucked. So I would make sure everyone stretches out. I thought I was stretched, but dude.
You got to stretch a little bit more.
Yeah. So that was fun. October was good. I was tested, I think, creatively and physically and mentally. So I'm really excited for November. Just to like chill. Spend time with my friends and family and just, that was the cool thing about San Francisco was because like we had a lot of time to like really spend time together and like chill.
Even though like
Angelo and I.
Yeah. And like I said, even though it was really only one day, like Angelo and I landed at like literally 6:30 in the morning on
like
Sunday.
36 hours. For me, it was 36 hours. For you, it was like 30 maybe. Yeah. Cause you guys, and it felt so jam packed. I mean, we barely slept, but.
Barely slept, but yeah, that was a fun little trip.
And it was fun too because like it was so jam packed, but like we had such a good time that I wasn't really tired.
No, I mean we ended up staying up to like 3. I was up for like 24 hours. So
that was my October. How's your personal life been?
Personal life October was
anything exciting? Anything new?
I had my birthday.
Oh yeah,
in October, 33. So I had that. Yeah, which was nice. And Ivana's birthday is literally 7 days before mine, so we were able to celebrate hers, celebrate mine, which is nice. Go out to dinner.
Yeah, do some dinners, do some hanging,
do some dinner, do some shows. Drinking. Saw Absinthe, which is a really cool show at Caesars.
Yeah, you guys were just telling me how awesome it was.
Yeah, it was a good time. We were able to go to, able to attend When We Were Young Festival. We had tickets for the first Saturday, but as most of you know, if you even know what I'm talking about, the first day got canceled due to wind. And then luckily it worked out where she got hit up by Netflix to do a campaign for the following Saturday. So we were able to go. It was fun. I had already pre-agreed to photograph a baby shower on that date. So I unfortunately had to leave for a few hours and go back to the festival. So
fucking babies, man.
Yeah.
Well, that's cool of you though, that you didn't bail.
I wanted to,
see, that's commitment.
I mean, trust me, I wanted to, because like for me, I go, you don't really need a photographer and a videographer for your baby shower. Like,
yeah, but you committed.
You have cell phones.
Stuck to your commitment.
I did. I gave someone my word and I stuck through,
which means a lot. Yeah, and you're missing out hanging out with your girl.
I had to leave the festival during like the prime time of like when I wanted to see the most bands. So
yeah,
sacrifice for the cause, I guess. But it's all good.
No, that's character, man.
October felt really fast,
dude,
but also really long. Like I think back of like, oh, my birthday was only, 2 weeks ago. And I think back to like, we went to San Francisco and it's like, fuck, that was again 3 weeks ago.
Well, I
but
guess,
like,
yeah, you're right. Cause San Francisco feels like
a few months
ago, but it was 3 weeks ago.
Yeah. It was literally
Crazy.
not even a month ago to the day.
Yeah.
And it's like, fuck, I felt like that was like 3 months ago.
Yeah.
So it went by very fast, but certain points feel like they happened a lot more further away than they did.
I completely agree. Oh, I also shot my first hockey game.
How was that?
Hockey's fucking hard.
Is it-
Legitimately hard as fuck. The thing that like I didn't realize is like obviously like, oh, not obviously, but if you don't know, you have to shoot through a hole.
Yeah, there's a hole in like the plexiglass, right?
Yes.
Yeah, that
But
makes
I
sense.
didn't realize with a 7200, well, for any lens, but the main lens you use that I used was 7200. You lose your angles, so you can only shoot like
Oh yeah,
this
yeah,
much of the ice.
yeah.
So it's like I was like, holy fuck, this is so hard. And then the ice hole is like kind of low, so you kind of need like a bar stool, which I didn't have. I was told to bring one and I didn't. But so I just kind of like stood super wide, so I was shorter.
Right.
Dude, if you're any taller than me, it would have sucked.
So yeah, it's like a weird position because it's not a crouch, but then you're not
Yeah.
standing up. So yeah,
It's
I
super
could
weird.
imagine how.
And that's how boxing was too. Boxing is like this like awkward body positioning.
Yeah,
And then same thing with basketball. Basketball, you're sitting on the ground.
yeah, you're straight sitting Indian style. Are we allowed to say that anymore? Legs
Yeah,
cross
I don't know.
or however you prefer, but yeah, yours.
Crisscross applesauce.
Yeah, there you go.
So it's like physically demanding a little bit, and then also like, yeah, it was super fun though. It was such a challenge. I don't know how my photos came out, but yeah.
But how was traveling? How was traveling for work? I know you had texted me saying
Oh yeah, traveling for work. It's kind of overrated.
a little bit.
Like it's awesome, but like for Orlando, I was in one area and I was in a hotel, and then I was in a fucking a convention center, and then I was home.
Yeah, so for most of the like
San Francisco was not overrated at all. See, because we got to really enjoy
you
ourselves.
had to enjoy.
It
Yeah,
was jam packed with awesomeness.
and that's the weird thing is like when you do travel for work and you're there for like a 1 day gig,
Yeah.
you don't get to see anything, and so you're like, well, I didn't really get to see.
And then my back just hurt from fucking a 4-hour flight. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, it's kind of it's fun for me. Like it's exciting, but at the same time, it's like I've found that it's like lonely
Yeah, it's exciting, but yes, lonely.
because you're just there for just that gig. And then whatever it is, if you're shooting for a client, right? You obviously go to like you go back to your room at the end of the night, and they go
yeah,
wherever.
it's like, what do you do in your room? Like, I can only jerk off so many times.
Well, you don't like you're in your hotel room, and you're like, I could take time and like get more work done since there's no distractions. But then you're like, well, fuck, dude, I at least need to chill and relax
So
and
I
reset.
snuck a weed pen with me.
Oh,
Helped
nice.
significantly.
Yeah.
Because like before, I would just like, oh, you know what? I'm by myself. Let me drink a couple beers. Like,
Yeah.
that's not productive at all. So yeah, if I smoke a little bit of weed, I could chill. I could edit, maybe watch a movie. But yeah, it's fucking so.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then you're like in a different bed, and the floor is so humid. Yeah. I love traveling and it's exciting, like you said, but yeah, sometimes it's a little overrated.
A little bit.
Especially if it's like for like a conference like I was at.
Yeah.
It's just like pretty cut and dry stuff. Not super exciting.
Yeah.
Like a music festival is always exciting. A wedding's exciting. Yeah, either way, I'm super grateful, but it was just like a little,
yeah.
especially at
can
my
be.
level of like already like beat up from the year. Yeah.
Yeah. I did some traveling back a few months ago. Yeah, I was out in Salt Lake for a gig, and I was there for like 3 days, and it was fun, exciting, but yeah, that got I don't want to say dark, but it definitely got like kind of dark for me because I'm like, what the fuck am I doing? I'm in the state by myself.
Mm-hmm.
Like my wife's at home. It's just kind of like lonely because like once the work part is done where I'm not photographing, I'm not like occupied.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just sitting in like some Motel 6 or Holiday Inn, and you're like, fuck do I do
That
until like the
sucks.
next day where I'm shooting or something, or I'm going home.
That sucks when you're in like a on top of that, like if you're in a bad hotel, you're like,
the one in
you're
Salt Lake,
like, no wonder why people fucking.
the one in Salt Lake was nice because it had like this like little like balcony. It was
Mhm.
only like 3 stories, but it was nice because it's just like sit out there and like watch like the sunset. But like I said, like who I was shooting was like a group of MMA fighters, so they were in one house. They're all friends, brothers, family, and then
Mhm.
I was just like the oddball, like popping in, doing photos,
Yeah.
and then leaving, and then like I said, just go back to like my lonely hotel room. It's like, fuck.
Yeah, that's kind of how I feel lately too in my personal life a little bit. Because I'm not, I'm not really drinking too much, so I want to spend time with my friends, but like they're out drinking, and then it's like, do I want to sit there while they're drinking? And
Right.
I'm sure I would be fine. I'm just overthinking it, and they're good friends, so they wouldn't like be weird about it or
It's
anything.
not like
But I
yeah,
just feel a little like left out almost, and that's how it is when you're at the hotel by yourself as well. You're like, oh well, fuck. I'm just like,
yeah,
I'm just here now. Yeah,
Weird.
it's depressing for sure.
yeah.
Like hats off to anybody who travels full time for work or more than I do.
Yeah.
Like stand up comedians, just always in hotel rooms, just road dogs.
Yeah. That gets tough.
Yeah. But yeah, if you guys want to book us to travel,
Yeah.
super
we're not,
down.
We're not opposed to it.
Yeah.
Just
Make
sure to
book. Being
just make
realistic.
sure to book us both. That way we're not alone. Yeah. So I wanted to touch on taking on too much work and
Mhm.
like being overwhelmed. Because I noticed you had mentioned, you know, like we as being self-employed, and this goes for any field. Like I was at my nail salon, my nail girl yesterday. She's obviously self-employed, right? And so it's not just us as like photographers or videographers. It's like I feel like anybody who is your own boss and makes your own schedule,
Mhm.
it's hard to say no to things.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm like right on the cusp a lot of the time of being overwhelmed. I'll like visibly or like verbally say out loud to my girl, I'm like, I'm getting a little overwhelmed. But I do, cause it's like, but I think that's what I'm addicted to is like the hustle and the grind and
Mhm.
the motions of it. So it's very easy for me to say yes to everything. And I think you have to say yes to everything and take on as much work as possible when you're first starting. And I mean, realistically, you and I are still in our like infancy of our careers. We're still,
Yeah, I mean,
early 30s, late 20s,
yeah, I mean, there's like so many different like for me, I look at kind of like chapters in your journey, right? Like at first it's like it's a hobby, then it's
Mhm.
like you start making some money, and then the third chapter is making more money, right?
Mhm.
Like now then you could say you're whatever you do, you're a photographer, videographer, what have you. And then now I feel like I hit a new chapter because I took away the safety net, and now I don't have a 9 to 5. I just have this. So
Yeah, it's scary.
yeah, me being now I'm like 2 years in since I quit the 9 to 5. It's like, okay, this is now that new journey of like, this is all you do. This is how you make your money. And this
Mhm.
is like the only way to make your money. So
Does that make you feel like you need to say yes to everything?
yes,
That's how it is for me.
on one hand, yes. On one hand, yes, I feel like I need to say yes to everything because you're not sure, like you don't have guarantees. Like you and I don't have clients that are like a repeat client every month where you go, okay, I know I'm shooting for this, let's say store or this
Like we
client.
don't have retainers.
Yeah, I don't
Yeah,
have this retainer that's a guaranteed X amount. So
Mhm.
the fact that it's like you are freelance, it's like you take on everything, and then certain things, maybe you say yes to think because it's a new client or new opportunity. You're like, oh, I should take this on because this is
It's the what if.
Mhm.
Like, oh, what could this?
I could prove myself to this person. They haven't really worked with me before.
Mhm.
And I think it's also another part of it is, if you look at your schedule, you look at your calendar and you're like, well, I am physically available that day. Yeah, I could
Mhm.
take that on. What time is that? Oh, I don't have
But are we
something going on.
mentally available that day? That's the question. And I'm very grateful because I feel like I've been on the cusp of being overwhelmed, but I still feel like I'm putting out good work.
Yeah.
Which is good. And then I've had another thing that I've been dealing with recently is I'm shooting a lot of it's kind of convention season a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
So I've been shooting a lot of that stuff, but it's not like Instagram worthy, Instagrammable. It's not like, like the fun, like,
It's just stuff that pays the bills.
yeah, and it pays the bills beautifully. I'm so grateful for it. But I've also been on like the other side of it, like, oh shit, like October was a lot of just, I mean, I shot a lot of cool stuff too. But yeah, I think it was just those 3 like corporate convention conference type things. I was like, oh fuck, like this pays really good, but like, is this something I want to do forever? It's just like a conundrum I had a little bit.
Yeah.
Because I do have friends who do that full time.
Right.
And they make a great living at it. Yeah, it was just like a shit. Like, could I do this? Would I want to do this? Because I do like the hours a little bit better. They're long days, but I have the nights available to sleep like an adult.
Right.
But yeah, so I was thinking about that.
I just think that that's maybe like where like pivoting could come into play, or like changing your, I don't want to say mindset, but like I guess what I'm getting at is, for example, like, things like TikTok and YouTube, right? They're like a different form. So like, yeah, showing off the final results of like convention may not be the most like woo, because it's just whatever, but maybe, like a little mini vlog or like a little recaps of you traveling for work or things of that nature may have more value on social media,
I need to actually do that. I feel indifferent about Instagram now. I'm just like, but that's not an excuse. I need to definitely get on it with Reels, I guess.
That's where I'm at. Like Instagram, I'm kind of like, it's kind of like fizzling out for me, but I'm more so trying to like invest in like things like TikTok and YouTube of like, okay, well, what could I use on this platform? Like, what is this platform? Like, what does this platform say that I could kind of pivot,
Yeah, and I also feel like I'm growing out of social media.
Yeah.
Because it's like, I love my friends and I like, I follow people that I like, but like, I just don't really, I like seeing my friends do dope shit, make cool shit, like photos and videos, but like, outside of that, it's like just fizzling out as far as like, like the fun of just like seeing what everyone's up to. I just kind of like, I have all my own goals going on right now and I kind of just don't really care.
Yeah.
And it sounds like harsh, but like, I like my friends, like not my like direct friends, but like, do I fucking care like what these people that I went to high school with or met once are doing? Like, it just kind of is like, it feels like a time suck,
Oh yeah, absolutely. That's
what like, why am I like, it's like I'm wrapped up in this, like
I really
could
don't
be doing
care.
40 other things right now.
Yeah. That's how I feel too.
Yeah.
And
it's more of a waste of time. Not that I don't care, but
it's more of a, I mean, I see wasted time, and I just see, for me, like when I get stuck in like a little, lull, or like a, you're just on your phone waiting for something, whatever it may be. And I get caught up in the same thing. I'm like, what the fuck? What do I care? I don't even really know this person. I met them, or I haven't even talked to them or physically seen them in like 7 years. And it's like, what am I? Oh, cool. You're like hiking with your dog. Like,
yeah, that's cool. And like, it's not like, I'm not hating on them. It's just like, I could be using that time.
Yeah. It's more of like a self thing. It's like, why am I wasting? Like, cool. You're partying or you're doing this. It's like, for me, my time needs to be better used doing other things and not wasting it, getting like caught up in people's lives.
Yeah.
With that being said, here we are having a podcast, right? Being like, you should watch and listen to what we have to say.
No, it's pretty hypocritical for sure.
I
just mean using social media, letting social media intrude in my into my time that I could be using for other things. That's all.
Yeah.
Not to say that like what people are doing on there is good or bad. It's just like I could be using that time to do.
Yeah, it's like more of a self thing.
Yeah, but don't get me wrong. Social media is the shit when you're fucking at the airport and you have nothing else to do.
Yeah.
It's like, but yeah, if I'm sitting at home and like I'll be editing, and then I'll like get a text or something like, oh cool, boom boom boom, respond back to that, and then I open up Instagram and I'm on it for 10 minutes. I'm like, what the fuck am I doing? Like, I just should be editing.
Yeah.
Those are the situations I'm speaking about specifically.
Yeah, I get caught up in the same thing.
I'll physically take my phone and like chuck it and be like, what the,
Yeah, I mean, it's stuff Ivana will always tell me, she's like, put your phone in the other room, just leave it alone. But then the part that fucks me is the fact is like, if you were to leave your phone somewhere else,
Mhm.
right, put it in another room and really focus on the things you need to get done.
Mhm.
There's some sort of, like text, or there's something
Mhm.
that I just don't want to miss.
Every time, dude, I always get a call or I always get a text or something that like it's not necessarily super important, but like could definitely be, I could have responded to.
Yeah, I don't know.
But then it's like, is it that big of a deal?
Yeah,
I'm gonna be fine.
I don't know. Anything in my phone anyway is all work related. You know what I mean? So it's
Yeah.
like, it's someone's gonna text me for a last minute gig or something, and it's like, could it have waited, or say I don't get to my phone for 6 hours?
I think
like
that's something we need to exercise more, is being okay with not being completely glued to our phone.
yeah, being reachable and
Being unreachable for a couple hours is totally okay.
to focus on getting the things done. Because like I said, you
Yeah.
look at your to-do list and you're like, I fucking need to get this done. You
Mhm.
start getting all aggro, and then here you are, you're like self-inflicting it of like, yeah, someone texts you, and the next thing you know, you
Mhm.
get sidetracked even within the text. Hey, send this invoice, or hey, do this. And you're like, oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Fuck, I was supposed to be editing this fucking video.
ADHD to the max.
So a lot of little learning and
Curves.
habits that need to, kind of be broken.
Yeah. I think that's all. Yeah, just
It's part of human nature.
yeah, and it's not, I think people aren't, not just us are dealing with that. I think everybody's dealing with that. Even if you work a 9 to 5 or you're in an office or something, I think people still have to deal with the same type of issues.
Yeah, I don't think it's specific just to us. I think all these things are kind of it's a little bit different in our case, because most people at your job, you can't be on your phone, or you can't get caught up.
Mm-hmm.
You're in retail, so
because we're our
own boss, and we're our own
exactly.
person
Yeah,
going, and we work from home most of the time when we're not on an actual shoot.
Yeah.
So at your house, there's all kinds of distractions. Like you said, I could sit there, and my workplace is also the same place that I'm technically on. I could take a break, right? I could eat at my computer. I could just be on my phone.
Mm-hmm.
And then look at my computer and go, oh, fuck.
Yeah, and I was thinking about it too. I have friends who like have a hard time like doing like, not necessarily. I just think that there's people that don't have the ability to I can't think of the word, like manage themselves to do things. They need somebody to be like, hey, let's do this, da 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 da. And I'm very grateful that I'm able to like, I guess dictate myself, to tell myself to do.
Yeah.
What's the fucking word? I don't know. You know what I'm saying?
Hold yourself accountable?
Hold myself accountable, exactly, and make myself sit down and like get after it, Yeah. Do you have a hard time forcing yourself to motivate yourself to get work done?
I don't have a hard time motivating myself. I have a hard time staying on track for a certain period of time.
Dude.
Because like my daily habit, I ideally she'll wake up for work
Mm-hmm.
like 6:30, get up. My alarm goes off right around 7, but my body's not ready to get out of bed until about 7:30 when she's leaving. It's like kind of like she's like getting up, she's around,
Mhm.
then my body's up, then I make coffee, and then I want to be, right at the computer as soon as I can to just early morning, kind of no distractions, get to it. But like I said, the phone and just not even the phone, because I'll still like you have the fucking web browser, right? So I'll still be on Instagram and YouTube and all these other things on the web on a new tab, and it's like, fuck. So it's not me myself motivated, it's more myself staying on track, staying focused.
So I have a hard time staying on track as well. And I think it's the coffee.
You think the coffee actually is harmful?
So I claim that
Cheers.
I claim that the coffee helps my brain work so well, and it works so fast that I can't keep track of what I'm thinking about. And my girl's like, yeah, that's just ADHD.
Yeah.
I'm like, no. I'm working so efficiently that I'm thinking about multiple things at once, and I have to write them down to stay on track. It's just like, yeah, that's ADHD.
Still describing it.
And I was like, yeah, but it only happens when I drink coffee. I just feel so good, and I feel like I'm working so fast.
So what happens when have you tried it when you're not drinking coffee?
Absolutely not. I'm going to keep drinking coffee. But I'm
Well, I was just trying to see if there was like a day where like if you didn't drink coffee,
No.
you're like, I'm slower, but I stuck to like one thing, right?
No.
Like what's the
I don't want to find out. I'm gonna keep drinking coffee. I'm just saying it was a funny observation I had. Do you want to try that theory?
no, I just feel like more so maybe it's not even if coffee were to help or not, because I drink I drink a lot of coffee for like definitely more than the average human, but more so I think it's now just like habit, like the flavor. I crave the flavor of it.
Well, it's the ritual as well.
Mhm.
You said you wake up, you make
It's like
it.
a cigarette, right? Where it's like, oh, well, I have a few minutes to just light it up, and it's like, bro. But what I'm getting at is it's more so I don't know if it would help me or not, but that's just part of like my routine now, and I need it. Like I said, when I wake up and I'm like out here and I'm like throw on coffee, then get your computer set up, get like your notes or whatever, your phone, your list out, and then coffee will be ready.
When I wake up and I'm tired, I get excited because I can have coffee.
I get excited anyway. See, it's more of like a habit for me than it is like
the coffee or waking up.
Coffee.
Okay, yeah. I get up and I'm like, I'm kind of groggy. It's like, oh, I can have a coffee. I was like, we're good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's like a habit. It's a fun thing that I look forward to. I even thought about getting some decaf coffee.
That's
like
what
maybe
Ivana's
drink
told
some
me
coffee
before.
throughout
She's
the
like,
day.
just because you like the flavor so much.
Mhm. It is nice. It's like a nice, rich.
And there's different ones.
It
like
hits the spot
Costa
too.
Rica, Ecuador, Brazil. Like there's so many different.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah. Oh, I almost forgot. I didn't have it in my notes because it just happened this week.
Mm-hmm.
So the last day in October, Ivana had me at her school for career day.
Oh, yeah. I saw that. I wanted to ask about that. You're wearing a beanie. And the first thing I thought was, can visitors wear hats in school?
No, she told me that when I pulled it because I didn't want to do my hair, and plus I had green hair, so I was like, these little kids, like I'm trying to not have as much distractions, like
for sure, yeah.
So I wore a beanie, and she had told me when we pulled up to the school, she's like, visitors can't wear hats. And number one, I'm like, well,
you're like, I'm a fucking adult.
Well, first of all, I was like, like I'm a guest speaker for 2 hours, like it's fine. 2, it's Western Day, so everyone was wearing cowboy hats.
Yeah,
so I was like, can't tell me I can't wear my hat.
I'm an urban Western cowboy.
But yeah, that was
So what'd you talk about? What was like did they give you homework for like criteria to speak about?
So I believe there was 8 class or not classes. There was 8 different sessions, and most of the classes had like 2 to 3 classrooms within it, groups.
Mm-hmm.
So it'd be like 3 5th grade classrooms in my little 10-minute period. So I had 10 minutes each group.
Mm-hmm.
And so I talked about, just kind of went through my spiel of what I do.
And what grade are they?
They
Elementary?
varied. Yeah, elementary.
Okay.
So basically I really only had 2 groups. I had 4th and 5th, and then I had kindergarten and 1st. So I didn't have anyone in the middle. I had
kindergarten first. I feel like you could just say whatever.
Kindergarten, and I realized that by the end of it, that I could just... So I went through like I said, 10 minutes and talking to a group of kids. I have no problem like public speaking or things like that. It was more so nervous about what I'm saying to kids and retaining their like attention and just, I don't know what I was going to get,
Yeah.
So I had my little spiel of like what I did. Do you guys like taking photos and videos? And, this is what I do for a living, and, yada, yada, how I got started. I was in high school, so I was older than you kids, yada, yada. And then I had a handful of photos. I pulled them up on like the projector.
Mm-hmm.
So I showed them a handful of my photos. Showed them a couple photos of who I thought they'd recognize. Jack Harlow, Doja Cat. I had a food photo of like a really cool bacon burger, and then I even had a family photo of one of the teachers. So that way they would recognize Maverick, the
wife?
son. No. It was another. I've done her family photos, but she also teaches there.
Cool.
So some of the kids would recognize, oh, Miss Mortensen, and there's Maverick.
Sick.
So it was like all full circle. But the 4th and 5th graders asked really good questions. They were like, oh, who's your favorite, celebrity? And like, do you get exhausted? They had some like really good questions for like 5th graders. Yeah, I was like, holy shit. Like, okay, cool. And then they asked me, like, how much money do I make? And like things like that, like really actual good questions. Kindergarten came in, humbled the shit out of me. So I go through this, like I said, I go through the spiel I already just ran through, right? And then at the end I say, do you guys have any questions? And like I said, 5th grade asked some pretty good questions. Kindergarten, I go, oh yeah, you in the back. And I walk over to listen to her, and she's like, I'm thirsty.
Like sick.
And I was like, sick. That's probably a question for your teacher.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, what about you over here? What's your question? And the last photo I show them is the teacher and her family, right? So that's still up on the board. So I walk over to the next girl. Oh, what's your question? I like family.
Nice. Me too.
I'm like, all right, cool. Yeah, family's good. Family's important. Walk over to the next person. What's your question? I like family too. All right, fuck. So I'm thinking in my head, I'm like, wow, kindergarten like really puts you in your place. So moving forward, the next 2 classes after that, I was like, I'm just going to get through my little spiel because half of them are napping or freaking out anyway. They're not paying attention. I was like, my main like selling point is just show them photos and then just ask them questions they could say yes or no to. Oh, cool. So I show them the burger, right? And I'm like, do you guys like bacon? And they're like, yeah.
Oh, that's smart.
And I'm like, do you guys like lobster? And I'd be like, so, like half and half. So yeah, kindergarten humbles you really quick.
That's fucking cool.
Yeah, it was cool.
Was your wife with you while you did all the speeches?
No,
or was
I
she
did
off
it.
Doing her thing.
She was in her thing. She was playing bingo with other groups, but I was in her. I was in the library, so I was in her room.
So, what were some of the other speakers?
She had told me. I think there was a police officer, like a fireman standard, but I know she had mentioned that one of the other speakers was cosmetology.
Very cool.
Yeah, so I think there was only like 4.
So you're obviously the coolest one there.
I feel like I was.
Yeah, for sure.
But some of the 5th graders wrote me
when you
notes.
Put out fires, like I'm a photographer.
You know, you want to see my badge? Like, can I see your gun? Like, so yeah, it was pretty cool. And then some of the 5th graders had actually wrote me notes.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, they wrote me notes like the next or after, but I got them back. You know, by the time I got to Ivana. Yeah.
Do you have them?
Mm-hmm.
Where are they?
They're in my office.
Go grab them. Let's read a couple.
Yeah, you got
yeah. Fuck yeah, dude. That's so cool.
Yeah, it's like that.
He's grabbing his notes so we could talk about it. Boom, 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 boom. Another spin drift. Yeah, thanks, dude. We can just leave all this in. Do a little breaky break. He's almost back, guys. He's almost. Thanks, dude. All right.
So,
all right, Sean is back.
Here we are.
I'm gonna read some notes.
Oh,
look. What? How old was that person?
5th grade.
Nice. So. Their handwriting looks better than mine.
It's pretty. So yeah. Some of the notes, some of the 5th graders wrote, "Dear Mr. Jorgensen, thank you for showing us your photos. And my favorite picture was the little Uzi Vert photo because I think you were at the concert. It looked fun. You had some good photos. I hope you do good. My name is Marquise, and my favorite colors are red and black, and all of your photos are really beautiful. I hope you become famous. You should sell pictures. Thanks again presenting to us, and thanks for inspiring me, and I like how you take them. Your favorite pick is the DJ." I don't know what that means.
Sick, dude. That's fucking awesome.
Yeah. So, yeah.
Just one more.
One more.
You have a girl one?
Yes. Oh, wait. Where was one? She was like super sweet. Yeah, there was this one's. Yeah, she drew a picture. "Dear Mr. Jorgensen, thank you for presenting some of your photos to all of us and answering my and everyone else's questions. I love your work as a photographer. I always loved taking photos. I want to be a photographer as well. My favorite picture you showed was the one with the golden hamburger. Also, my name is Esperanza. I was the girl in the back with glasses in 5th grade. Thank you again." And then you flip it over and she drew me a photo. This is a picture of a tornado with cameras and photos with a mountainside, leaves, and someone of you taking a picture. So it's a tornado and there's cameras.
Yo, you're in there.
I believe that's me in the tornado with cameras.
Dude, that's pretty sick. Oh, dude, this camera has arms and legs. Dude, that's so cool.
It's a robot camera. Human camera.
Whoa, that's fucking cool. This is legitimately handwriting's as good as mine, if not better. Wow, she has beautiful handwriting. Wow.
Yeah, so I thought that was like super cool to like, I don't know, I guess just to read the words like,
totally.
Thank you for talking to us, like you inspired. It's like, holy shit, dude.
Yeah. Did you get all lame about it? Get all sentimental now?
I did when I read that one that said like you inspired me because like I said that
Yeah,
just
it's
hits
very
different.
cool.
To say like
For
thank
sure.
you for something is like
Totally.
okay cool like yeah
Yeah.
thank you, but like to be like you inspired me, it's like dang dude, like maybe that girl does grow up one day and it's like
Yeah.
oh yeah.
Yeah, that's kind of like what this podcast is a little bit, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Bring it full circle. Yeah, like I met one person, I was on a gig, Jared, and he was like, "Oh, dude, listen to your podcast." And then like now he hits me up and he has like some questions. He's like always like super grateful. So yeah, it's cool to, you know, help out people. That's the main thing is just helping people.
Yeah.
Trying to help people skip the lessons we learned.
Or just experience, you know, maybe the same things as someone else of like oh fuck, it's not just me.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not alone, right? We all have our self-doubts. We all have like off nights. We all have like these things like this client wasn't the best or this client was the best. Like it's just nice to be like, oh fuck, like it's not just me going through this thing alone.
Totally. And it's not just us in this field either.
Right.
It's everybody, I think, in this field. Yeah. Yeah, everybody who's freelance, you know. Yeah, I mean, for instance, yeah, we had like Ali on. She's a barber. We had a bunch of other people on that go through the same types of things.
Yeah, business owners, you know, creatives,
Yeah.
self-employed, non-self-employed.
But yeah, it's cool.
Well, yeah, I wanted to ask, do you ever have off nights or shoots that in the moment you're shooting, you just feel off, you know, a rough night in the office?
Yeah, I mean, I think everybody does. I mean, we're all human, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, but with that being said, I actually will feel that way pretty frequently. And I'm like, I don't know if I got anything that cool. And then I'll go home and edit, and I'm like, and I surprise myself more often than not.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm in a part of my career and experience level to where I could just be in the moment, trust myself, trust my instincts. And more often than not, it does seem like my instincts are pretty good. But obviously there is an off night for everybody.
Yeah. Certain, yeah.
Day,
More
you
so just like
know?
certain things that were like, yeah, in the moment you're like, fuck, I'm just not, it's just not firing, you know? Like it's just not,
Yeah.
I'm not on all cylinders.
So I did actually shoot last month. I shot Roger Waters
Who's
of
that?
Pink Floyd.
Oh, okay.
This fucking guy doesn't know. I'm just
I
kidding.
missed that one.
So I shot for 3 minutes.
You had 3 minutes to shoot?
3 minutes to shoot him.
Oh, shit.
He only allowed 3 minutes. It was 2 songs, and the songs were super short.
Right.
So I had, they're like, all right, go in to the pit, shot it, and then like, all right, we're done. And I'm like, whoa, that was like
3 minutes. Yeah. Like
3
I've taken
minutes.
longer pisses.
Yeah.
I've timed myself, by the way, if you're
Yeah. So,
wondering.
yeah, it was crazy. It was so fast. And then that was a time where I was like, fuck, like, I mean, it's kind of like, it is what it is. Like I got what I got. Like,
Yeah.
It's no, like, it's kind of it's out of my hands to some degree. But yeah, I got home and I was like, oh, these aren't as bad as I got like maybe 1 or 2 shots that were like cool.
Mm-hmm.
But that was like one of those instances that I was like, fuck, I have no idea if this was like, yeah, it's crazy. It was crazy. Like the drive and like getting there and driving home was like far longer than the shoot.
Than actual work.
Yeah. It's crazy.
Yeah. I think I go through those too where like I feel off. And then, yeah, sometimes I'm like, I just got to look at the photos on the computer and just kind of go reassure myself. Either reassure myself that's like, oh, everything's going to work out fine. Or yeah, it's just in your head, or to just go, fuck, these are shitty. And I got some work to do, you know, like I got some saving to try to salvage.
Yeah. For me, I think I'm probably botching this, but I think that's what professional means. Like, it's not so much me physically not putting out good work in that certain situation. It's more me mentally, like, I'm not into this right now. Like, I don't want to shoot right now. But like, I think like there's a quote that says like, you're a professional when you're doing your profession on days that you don't want to do your profession.
Right.
So then it's like my job in that situation for me to still perform, even though I don't want to, or I have something personal going on in my personal life.
Yeah.
I'm like, hey, like it doesn't matter. Like the client or the job or whatever, it requires me and they need me to do this.
You got to be on. Yeah.
So I can't afford to have not a good night. You know, I have to like, have to push through.
Yeah.
And I have to persevere. That's the word I was trying to think of. To persevere and push through and like, put that to the side and still shoot. And I've been shooting long enough to the point where it depends on the gig and the situation, but fortunately enough, I do feel like some nights I can go on autopilot a little bit and still put out work that's decently okay,
Yeah.
But yeah, it definitely it's more mental. Just like fuck, I'm exhausted. I'm tired, and physically too exhausting. Like I'm just so tired.
Yeah. I think.
What about you?
Yeah, it's so much of it is mental. To either just feel like, and it depends the situation. It's like certain things I'll feel like it's off because the time is rushed, or took on too many things. Like for example, I'll give a few different little blips of certain things. So for one, it's like if I do a gig and I tell myself this every time, and for some reason I still do it. I've tried to tell myself to stop doing photo and video gigs at the same time. Like stop being a hybrid shooter at the same time, because.
But they're like, hey Sean, can you do this?
Can you also grab some video clips?
Sure.
And like, whatever, easy, or you charge more money. But it's never, in my case, I've never been able to charge enough to where you go, this is gonna be worth it to wear two hats.
Well, and if you could charge enough to where it's worth it for you, you could probably charge enough to have two people there.
Yeah. But that's one thing. I guess it's also a learning curve, but it's also things where I always feel off leaving that situation, because I tell myself, dude, you said you weren't going to do it. You said you weren't going to do a hybrid gig, and here you are doing it, and it's too much to juggle because you have 100%, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it's either, no matter how you slice it, one of them is going to suffer.
Exactly.
Whether you're 80% photo and then you're like, I'm just going to grab a couple raw clips for video, 20%, just one of them is going to suffer.
Mm-hmm.
Or even if you go 50-50, if you're conscious, I'm going to shoot this for a handful of photos and I'll grab video, then back. Yeah. So.
Well, we did that actually, not thinking back, we tag teamed that Caleb Plant gig.
Yeah.
And then you did video, I did photo.
Yeah.
It was so nice. We could just focus on one each.
Mm-hmm. So that's something that I, in the midst
saying
of it,
no.
And saying no is the one part, but then also those are the ones where I never, like I leave it and I'm like so wound up and like anxiety,
frustrated,
stricken, and it's like, there wasn't enough time. You know what I mean? Like 3 hours was not enough time to shoot this food at 3 different restaurants and then set up and break down 3 different locations at these bars, then do video, put together a reel. It's like, fuck, dude, you should, again, you always have to trust your gut and go, don't take on things, don't take on too much stuff.
Well, and being able to communicate to the client that, hey, that's not going to be enough time for what you envision.
Yeah.
That's a big thing with food shoots. Like, hey, if you charge hourly, it's like, well, we want this many hours because it's in our budget. But then it's like, we want X amount of dishes. And you're like, no, that's not going to work.
Yeah.
And then each dish is rushed and then it goes over.
And then for me, like there's so many, like, for me, like that in particular, like a food shoot, there's so many little tweaks that like make all the difference. So it's not just like the food is ready and you have, models in the scene or whatever, and it's just shoot the photos, boom, and move on. It's like there's all these little minor micronism tweaks of like this angle or move this, fill this space that really make that thing. But so when you look back, you go, fuck, that 45 minutes on one little dish just really went by. And it's because of those little minor.
But that extra time makes such a difference in the final image. And that's also where experience really comes into play.
And that's what I'm frustrated with myself. It's like I've experienced these things and I've done these things in the past, and I go, moving forward, what are the lessons you're learning? And then sometimes, like I said, when you still get caught back doing the things, you're like, dude, you know what I mean? Simplify it.
You're still putting yourself in those situations, even though you have the experience to not put yourself in those situations. Yeah,
exactly. That's exactly what I'm getting at. So it's like, dude,
you kick yourself.
You're almost setting yourself up for failure if in the event that something doesn't work out. It's like, well, who's to blame? You are.
Sure. Yeah.
Because you took on this, or you agreed, or you.
Well, then it becomes a thing too when you have a client that you've already done it once for, then they're going to expect it again. Mm-hmm. And then you're going to try to change it, and then you're going to be worried like they're going to be like, we'll just book somebody else or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely. Yeah.
So I think it's just,
Yeah, I've been there.
I guess to recap all of that, or just having off nights or off shoots or off moments, is to just trust your gut and trust your experience, that a lot of it is mental.
Yeah, but with that being said, what if you don't have the experience, and what if you're just starting out and you haven't been in those situations before?
So if I'm talking to the person that may not have that experience,
Because it's the young, hungry person that we still are and were, that says yes to everything, and then you get yourself in that oh shit situation. You know?
then I would say, in that situation, then I would just say that, yeah, sometimes you're gonna have to shoot it or go through that situation to experience if you do like that thing, if you don't like that thing, or I guess, like I said, just more so just gain the experience. Like you might
Learn
fail.
the hard way.
You might fail, but
Yeah.
hey,
But try your best to like pre-plan, pre-plan, dry run, like test your stuff beforehand, I think. But if you are in those situations, take a deep breath and don't spaz, like don't fumble. I see a lot of people that I work with fumble a little bit, like in high pressure situations.
Yeah.
And you just have to like, no, you're good. But I think it's bad for me to say that because I might have more experience than that person. So it's hard for me to like judge, because it's like I feel comfortable in high pressure situations because I've been in enough high pressure situations to where I feel comfortable. Does that make sense?
Yeah. I mean, yeah, you could kind of say, yeah, like poker face, right? Like, yeah, say, you took a photo or something and your exposure's off or it's bad. Well, don't ever let them know that it was a bad photo. Just keep going.
I disagree because if you didn't let them know, well, you can go both ways for sure. If you have an opportunity to redo it, like, oh yeah, let me just do one more real quick and fix it. Yes. But if it was bad and it was out of focus or whatever, and you say, yeah, we're good. And then you don't say anything to the client. And then after the fact, you're going to bite the bullet.
No, more so is what I'm saying is, if you do take, like I said, you take that bad photo, you don't tell them, oh, this photo sucks. Let's redo it. You just kind of just lie about, oh, let me get another one, or hey, let's shift this. Like,
for sure. Yeah.
But that's at least what I thought of when you said like fumbling or things of that nature. Where it's like, yeah, just keep your composure and try to not let everyone else know that, like, whatever, right? Like you're like freaking out or you had a little technical issue. Just roll through it, I
just think, if you're like doing something and you need more time or it's not working, don't fake it.
No.
Be honest. But hey, you know what? This isn't quite working. Let's try something different.
Yeah.
I think we're going to unfortunately go, a little over the time. I apologize, or whatever, I think honesty and that like comes into the professionalism aspect,
Yeah.
But don't spaz. Like, don't get like,
no.
And it's hard, like, it's hard to not do that if you're not experienced.
Even if you are experienced, it's even hard because there's a lot of moving parts, or maybe you're running out of time, and you don't mind staying over, but then you have to move to a new location or whatever it may be. Certain things may be out of your control, but it's like, if you can at least just try to remain calm, it'll help out
for sure. Like if you're in that
situation, freak out after the fact on the drive home, you know what I mean? On the flight home, like.
It's hard. I mean, it's really hard because I think that's where the experience comes into play. So it's like hard for me to like say, don't do this, but then I don't know. Yeah. Cause I do think like what I will, like my gut says to say is, you know what you're doing, you got this. But some people might not know what they're doing, and they got themselves in that situation. So it's like,
who are you talking to, right?
Don't try your best to not bite off more than you can chew, I guess would be the best thing, Because I mean, there's definitely been jobs where I've been like, but that was, I was a bit younger and a bit less experienced.
Yeah. It's still a tough line because like I said, certain things I can handle, but certain things I wish I didn't. Like I said, doing like a photo video hybrid thing, like, it's easy. Like,
you can handle it, but you visibly see one of them slacking.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean you can't handle it, but it's not going to be up to your.
No, it's just easier to focus on, like, again, for the story of the year thing. It's like shoot photos and then.
So you did photo and video for that?
Photo and video, like shoot raw clips for the, fucking manager or whatever.
Just for that guy.
And so, of course, it's the same thing of like photo and video, and then choosing which moments to photo and which moments look better on video and this and that. And it's like, you know what I mean? Like I said, it's like, dude, I can handle all this. I've done it before, but like, why? Again, if you can go back and kind of create your own situation, then do that. So those are just little things.
Yeah. What you got anything coming up that you're looking forward to?
November has a couple weddings. And then we're into Thanksgiving. Taking a few days off. December, couple weddings. December's a little bit more slower, which I'm trying to pump the brakes on. November and December, I'm trying to not take on as many things. Yeah, some cool things for New York coming up in December. But yeah, pretty mellow end of the year. Because I want to be.
Yes, I'm very proud of you for taking that time to. I'm trying to do the same thing, and I'm gonna really focus on it, especially too because I tweaked my back. I want to like rest up. I want to be good.
Yeah,
I want to feel good. I want to mentally feel good. I spend some more time with my girlfriend, and my friends. But yeah, I don't think I have too much fun stuff coming up.
I might be shooting
the
bull riding for Mr. Al Powers this weekend.
Oh, sick!
Which should be fun.
Nice.
Some nightclub stuff, but yeah, I'm trying to November and December. I'm really trying to kind of reset from my September, October weddings. So I was starting to get a little burnt out. So I'm trying to shift and shoot my other facets. That way it gives me a break from that. And that way, beginning of next year.
See, and that's a cool thing too. Going back on me shooting those conferences.
Yeah.
Because like we're well-rounded. So then like I'll get like a little burnt out of like the conferences. I'm like, fuck, like, this is like not super like, it's great money and I'm very grateful to have it and I'll shoot it anytime. But like it's a little dry. So then I do that and then, we could do something different and then keep it fun and interesting.
Yeah.
I'm super grateful that, we could do that.
Yeah, it's nice being able to be able to like pivot, and have like certain things. Like I said, like September, October were really big. I mean, this year in general was big for weddings for me. Like the volume that I
think just it was big for everybody.
The volume that I shot, and especially September, October, and like I said, November, December, I want to try to maybe pivot again and then take a break from that, which I think naturally I will be anyway with like November, December, as far as weddings, and then pivot to my other facets of like my, restaurant gigs and local businesses, and then music, things of that nature.
Yeah. Sick. Well, I think that was a nice little catch-up episode.